This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Know-How is brought to you by CashFly.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and once again, time for Twit's audience survey. We'd really like to hear from you. It's only going to take a couple of minutes, really. That's all. Just go to twit.tv/survey and let us know what you think. Your anonymous feedback will help us make Twit even better. And thanks for your continued support.
Today on Know-How.
Know how to build your own streaming podcast studio? Part 2.
Welcome to Know-How. It's a Twitch show where we build, bend, break, and upgrade. I am Father Robert Ballas.
And I am Brian Burnett.
And for the next however many minutes it takes, we're going to show you some of the stuff that we've been geeking out to so you can take it home and geek out on your own.
That's right.
Now, Hippo.
Padre.
Last week, we started this whole your own podcast studio thing, but it wasn't like the segments that we've done in the past where we showed people the cameras we liked, the lights we liked, and the microphones we liked. We had a specific focus.
Yes, and that focus were the little Blackmagic cameras.
Yeah, these little doohickems. We love these things. Great quality. They look good. They're incredibly flexible. They're not nearly as high priced as they should be. I mean, a camera like this would normally go for somewhere between $2,000 to $3,000 just a year or two ago.
Right.
These were $1,000 or $1,300, and they allowed us to use interchangeable lenses. They had HDMI, SDI, all the control channels we wanted. I mean, they were high-end cameras.
Yeah, and not a whole lot of compromise either, because they don't take up a lot of space. The only thing is they don't come with the 4K model doesn't record to it, but that's fine. I mean, if what you're doing, you don't need that. And then this one does, you can record to it with an SD card, but neither of them have monitors on it. So you these are cameras for people who can dial it in and know what they want. These aren't like, I would say, beginner cameras. Like someone's just like, oh, this is a camera that people say shoots good stuff. I don't know how any of it works, but...
Precisely, yeah. If you're going to be using these cameras, you actually have to know how video works. You have to know what kind of frame rate you want. You have to know what kind of glass you want to choose, because the thing about a camera with an interchangeable lens is it has an interchangeable lens. So you have to choose the right lens. And a lot of lenses out there, the low-priced ones, are kind of junk. They're plastic lenses. They're not great, which kind of negates the quality you get from the body.
Right, and unfortunately, you didn't get the 10,000 lens.
No,
lens from Leo.
I could not convince Leo to let us borrow that.
He trusts us.
You know what? He trusts us, but I'm not all that surprised that he wouldn't do that. I mean, but they are still good. They are still good lenses. They don't let in nearly as much light as they should. But I mean, for our purposes and what we want to do for this segment, they work just fine. Because remember, what we want to do is give people an easy sub $3,000 setup.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do. Now, that sub $3,000 setup would include you getting up to 2 of these cameras. Because remember, it's $1,000 for the cinema, it's $1,300 for the studio, and then some sort of streaming device. We're going to show you the streaming device in just a bit. Believe it or not, you're not going to need your laptop. This is a little box that I've been playing with for a while, and I got to say, aside from a couple of bugs, it's awesome. But we do want to start with something that is a complement to this, because as you mentioned, one of the biggest drawbacks of getting either of the micros from Blackmagic is...
no screen.
No screen. And you do need a screen. I'm not just talking so you can frame the shot. You need to be able to set parameters on the camera. You have to set your ISO, you have to set the iris, you have to set what kind of color balance you want. Now, if you get a switcher that allows you to control it through one of the control channels, either through the SDI or through the HDMI, then you can set it at the console. But if not, you're going to need something to plug it in to do your setup.
Right.
Yeah, which is why we've brought out this. If you go to the overhead shot, this wonderful little device, I have had my eye on this as long as I've had the micros on. This is the Blackmagic Video Assist 4K camera, 4K net camera. It's a video monitor. Now, the awesome thing about this is that, well, it works with absolutely everything. I've got it plugged into the cinema right now, and as you can see, I can do my settings on the cinema, and then I also get this wonderful 7-inch 1920 by 1080 touchscreen, integrated mono speaker, dual SD slots, So I can record here, slot A, slot B, both supporting SDHC, SDXC, and a plethora of inputs. As you can see, I've got HDMI in, so I'm running off my cinema camera with HDMI. I've also got HDMI out, so I'm passing it through. So if you go to that shot, go to HDMI 2, Alex, you can actually see what this looks like, which is, I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, anytime you give me the ability to pass through video, it's just going to increase what I can do with the device, which this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Getting back to this monitor, it's also got SDI. So I've got the 270 megabit, 1.5 gigabit, 3G and 6G right here, both in and out. So again, I can pass through if I need to.
That's cool.
Plus 2 balanced mini XLR. This is actually really, really important. The smaller version of this does not have these, which is why I didn't get it. I do kind of like this. This allows me to do, real-time recording of an audio source, which I need if I'm going to be mixing multiple cameras.
And doing podcasting.
This will also do LANC, so I can sync all my cameras if I need to get them all on the same timeline. And on the back, by the way, it's powered by the same batteries that power the Blackmagic cameras, which they're just Canon batteries. And the fact that I have 2 means I can swap them in and out without shutting off. Like, for example, see, it's still powered on. I can take these batteries out as I need.
And you can also use it as a charger, I guess, right?
Absolutely. It can also be used as a charger. And it is a touchscreen. So it gives me all of the functions that I need at a single glance. Everything from what kind of rate I'm recording at to what I set my channels for, what I'm going to be triggering. This is a really cool way for you to monitor what you're recording. I mean, this beyond anything.
Yeah.
This is one of the best assistants that I've seen.
Now, you were also saying to me that if you had a lens that was capable of it, could you control the focus and zoom and stuff on that too?
So if I put a micro four thirds lens on either of these cameras that support the active features, so the active mount that allows the camera to control the zoom and the focus, I can control it through any device that can control the cameras.
That's cool.
Right?
I like that.
We're getting kind of cool. The price,
a
little steep. If you go to the link there, Alex, it's going to run you about $900.
Ooh, that's pretty close to the price of the camera itself.
Yeah, and the thing is, there is a 5-inch version of this that does not record in 4K. That goes for $500.
And doesn't have the mini.
Doesn't have the mini XLR. Which kind of that's why I would go with this instead. It's worth the extra $400 for the 4K recording and for the mini XLR. Speaking of that 4K recording, let's talk about the formats you can support on this. So this is going to do NTSC and PAL. It's got, of course, SDA HMI, and on both of those, it'll do 720p, 50, and 59.94. It'll also do 23.98 on 1080p, 24 frames per second, 25, 29.97, 30, 50, 59.94, and 60. If you want to do interlaced, it'll do 1080i, 50, 59.94, and 60. Now, that's for both interfaces. If you're using the SDI interface, you get also the 4K resolution. So I can record 4K, 23.98 frames per second, 24, 25, 29.97, and 30 frames per second. Now, we're going to run into the same thing that I had with the Micro Cinema, which is it's going to be recording in 422 HQ ProRes.
Okay.
Which
huge files.
Remember, we used to record everything at TWID in ProRes.
Right. And I remember those days.
Those are big files. People like them, and the reason why Blackmagic does it is because they are a higher-end manufacturer of equipment.
Especially if you're doing any post-processing.
Precisely, and so it's worth it to have that. However, with this, not so much for me. So I'm okay with dropping it down and using a different recorder. Just know that if you do record in ProRes on this, your files are going to be huge. Huge.
You know how we love huge files here.
Absolutely. Now, hold on. Let me do this. Let me get the menu off the screen first. There we go. And actually, if you could switch to this this input.
Who's that?
Whoa, who's that handsome devil? Okay, I got the white balance all wrong again. But I mean, what I like about this, it will give me everything from, see at the bottom, at a glance, I know what my FPS is. I'll know what stop I'm at. I'll know the angle of my lens. I'll know my runtime. I get a volume meter. I get Zebra. I could use Zebra on this. So I mean, all the advanced features that you get built into the viewfinder of some of the higher end cameras, I can just get straight off of this monitor.
How is the audio just off the camera? Have you listened to any recordings off of it?
It's like any audio off of the camera.
Yeah,
I mean,
so you're gonna want to do.
It works, but
it's like it's included, but you're not gonna really want to use that.
And they know that, and that's why they have audio in jacks, because they realize a lot of people aren't going to use the audio at all, and the people who are going to use it will want to actually use their own mic.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is a really, really good companion if you are thinking about getting any of these cameras. Again, yes, a little expensive, but the information you can get off of this is phenomenal. Now, what I want to do right now is I want to swap this over and show you what it will do for 4K. So remember, with the studio camera, the HDMI output is always going to be 1080.
Right.
The SDI output can go up to 4K,
right,
which is nice. I can do this dual output. So I can have my studio monitors at 1080, but it can be sending to my switcher in 4K.
Exactly.
Or vice versa, whatever I want to do.
I guess so.
This is using a slightly different style of SDI. We've seen this. They're smaller.
Tiny.
And they're kind of nice because they do that.
Whoa.
Just realize these are a little bit delicate. I know people who have done stupid things like grab the camera by this or just tugged. You can pull that entire SDI socket out. You do have to like lift and pull.
Oof.
Just know that if you do that,
oh, that would make me so sad.
it would be just really, really sad. I've actually already designed a housing for this that goes around there, so it actually provides some strain relief. Because right now the strain relief is the connector.
Yeah.
And I'm not really happy about that. But okay, we're gonna go ahead and plug this into the SDI, like so. And I'm gonna turn this thing on. Let me remove the other camera.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Did you want to see
my video
yourself?
went away.
Let me get back for you. SDI. Oh, you know what? It helps if you put SDI out. So, wait. Why are you upside down?
I don't know.
The image flipped on the screen.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I should have mentioned that it auto flips.
Oh, okay. So it has orientation. That's
Yes,
cool.
It does. Hold on.
So lift it up and the other way.
Yeah, that's.
There we go. Okay. There we go. Let me focus you in here.
The color is a little bit better on this
You'll
one.
notice, see, and this is why I
it.
like the 4K camera. Look at the color on the 4K versus the 1080p.
But did you have it set properly on the other one?
Kind of. I mean, they're set for the same color temperature. It's just I like the image off the 4K sensor a bit more. I know I can get this off the 1080p, but I found that the 4K is actually more forgiving for getting you the really nice shots.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I do like looking at myself, so.
Yeah. And are we going? We are going through the monitor, right?
No.
Oh no, but no. That the image you're getting is a pass-through.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and
That is
again, this allows me to set all my parameters. I could, since I can control this via the SDI, I can actually set my all the parameters for what kind of format I'm going to be recording in from this monitor instead of having to go through the on-camera menu, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty sharp monitor too. Like,
Yeah, to 1080p.
It looks really
so
clear.
it will scale everything to 1080p. But I mean, it's not just a monitor. I have monitors. I have a couple from a few other companies actually we've seen on Know How that are great for looking at the output from cameras. But this is different because this is a monitor / recording studio.
Yeah.
That's good. Good.
Very neat.
Okay, so we've got another piece. We've got the cameras we want to play with. We've got a monitor that we can use to sort of control them when we need to control them.
Right.
However, we promised people that this was going to be a streaming podcast studio. So not just what we recorded and then edited and uploaded it.
Yeah.
We need a way to actually push things in real time.
Right.
I wonder how we're going to do that, Brian.
I think I have an idea.
Yeah. Well, we're going to show that idea in just a bit. But first, let's go ahead and take a moment and listen to this message.
Previously on Twit.
We've heard about Apple's foray into original content for the Apple TV, and now we have a trailer for Planet of the Apps. It's basically Shark Tank, but for app developers.
I think I already do this show. It's called iOS Today. We wear hats.
Oh, well, that's better than what we saw there.
Yeah.
This week in Google.
Let's all encrypt. What do you say? Keybase.io. These are secure chats. You also have a secure file system that are totally encrypted using public key crypto.
The new screensavers.
We're going to give you a little demo of the June Smart Oven. This is an oven, connects to the internet, your smartphone. It controls all of the cooking process, which burners are on, whether it's broiling or baking, what temperature it is at. So let me check the cookies. Of course, I could just look to my left and look in the oven, but why do that when you've got a video of the cookies cooking
Twit.
in live real time?
Tech just like you like it.
Is there an age minimum for old media status? I'm kind of curious about that.
You're young old. You're one of those young people who's old. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think so.
You ever had the early bird special at Denny's?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, you ought to go. It's fantastic.
All right, let's get to it. We will be showing you our streaming solution in just a bit. But first, Brian, do you remember a while back when we were at NAB, we had Blackmagic come to our booth, come to our table.
Yeah.
And they showed us a little shield. It was an Arduino shield.
I remember that.
And back then, people were like, okay, it's kind of cool, but I don't see how you're going to use it. I think now that we've been playing around with their cameras, we know exactly what they're for. You've got this thing that, well, my co-host for our Maker Show, we know this very well. This is an Arduino, but it's got some interesting shields stacked on top.
So what we built was a 3 gig SDI Arduino Shield. So we were able to put a SDI in and out on a mezzanine board here to throw on top of an Arduino, and then this is actually one of the Grant Petty's specialty. He built this himself to control the cameras. So you can iris up and down, you can turn the tally on and off, and then you can change the focus and whatever. And what we're doing is we're just selling the board itself. People can buy their own Arduino. And really, it's just a tinkerer's thing. People will make whatever they want to make with them. We're gonna ship the boards themselves in the next 6 weeks or so. They'll be $95, and people can buy their own Arduino and then build their own. So we're gonna include a disc that has the control breakouts for the controlling the cameras, and then some schematics for people to play around with. So this is like an engineer's little tinkering toy idea.
And for me, this sums up Blackmagic in a single product shot, and that is, you like to invite the people to tinker. You want people to take your gear and find out what they can do with it, rather than you telling them this is what it does and buy it and then leave us alone.
And then that's why we put out our SDKs on a lot of products. Even the Micro Cinema and the Micro Studio cameras last year had that expansion port that we called the hackable camera. You write your own interfacing, because at the end of the day, we shouldn't be telling you exactly how you do something. You should be able to, have some creative freedom. That's how we, create cool shows like this.
We have been speaking with Bob Cornelia, Senior Regional Manager at Blackmagic. He's been showing us all his toys, all the new products that you're going to find at the Blackmagic booth. Now, Bob, if they wanted to find out more about the Ursa Mini, they wanted to find out more about your duplicator, they wanted to find out more about the Shield, or anything else that Blackmagic has at their booth, of course, they should come to the show. But if they can't make it here, where do they find you?
Then they can go to www.blackmagicdesign.com.
Brian, the fact that I could combine my love of Arduinos with my love of setting up camera studios, that's kind of cool. I mean, and with that control, I've got control of the pan, the tilt, the zoom, all over the SDI control panel. Now, if I'm using something like that, the Studio, it gives me the ability to have a very low-cost device that can control my lens, my pan, my tilt, my zoom. I mean, again, under $3,000 Studio, totally doable.
Yeah. I think my favorite part when we did that NAB interview was just it kind of put you in the mindset of some of the people who work at Blackmagic, and you're like, oh yeah, they're makers too. Like they're playing with their toys that they like.
Yeah. And by the way, I did bring a really cool toy. This is something that we've been teasing for a while. This started as a Kickstarter. They had some trouble getting it past the finish line.
What Kickstarter doesn't?
I know.
But I remember when you first heard about this, you were so excited.
So excited, and actually still very excited. I've had a couple of glitches. They've had some software errors, but the hardware is pretty rock solid. I'm talking, of course, about this.
This little burrito
the overhead, the little burrito-looking thing. This is the Skreens. Now, I paid $400 for this. You can get them for $300, but I wanted a couple of extra features.
Right.
And quite simply, this is like the poor man's TriCaster.
Yeah, so what you have in the back here is a bunch of different HDMI cables coming out of it.
So if you look, right now what I've done is I've hooked up both of the Blackmagic cameras, both through HDMI, because this has 4 HDMI inputs.
Nice.
I've got one HDMI going out, that's going to the switcher so we can show it onto the stream. And then I've also got the ability to hook up Ethernet and USB. I don't need
so
it
you could do it over the network?
Right, I am going over the network, but this one actually has Wi-Fi built in.
Wow.
I probably wouldn't do that if it had it in my studio, because I'm right there, I might as well have it plugged in. But if you're like traveling with this and Wi-Fi is all you got, it will work. You don't need anything else.
Very cool.
Okay. So that's how it works. I mean, if you know how to plug in an HDMI cable, you know how to do this.
Yeah.
But with this, we get that. So right now, this is taking all 4 of my inputs. So I've got the 3 cameras plus the laptop that's controlling it, and I'm able to output. Now we have all the little control lines turned on because we thought it looked
well,
really
yeah,
cool.
It looks more nerdy that way.
It does look nerdy. But here's the cool thing. So this screen up in the top here, this allows me to change the positioning in real time.
What?
So I'm using it on a touch laptop, which means I can move around my images whenever I need to, put them wherever I need to go, and switching is as simple as doing this. So I can switch between inputs just by touching on the screen which input I want to use.
That is so cool.
I mean, and look at that. It actually looks really good. It's not one of these where you click and then it's immediate.
That is like the TriCaster right
This is the TriCaster. This is exactly when I was thinking about getting a TriCaster, I saw this, and what made me excited was like, wait a minute, for
$400
the cost, I can get something that will do more than a mini TriCaster?
Yeah, that is neat.
It's very neat. Now, if that's all it did, that would be pretty cool. Because what I could do is I could say hook this up to a streaming box and then output to Twitch or output to YouTube Live.
Yeah.
As it is, the way that this is going to be used in my studio is this HDMI output is going to go into that little Blackmagic screen that I showed you. So it's going to be recording on that.
Right.
So that will be my recording device. But here's the cool part. If I go back to HDMI 2, so I'm going to switch over to just this. Sorry, I want that one. To just this, I get a couple of options. Not only does this allow me to control which input is being switched through, but if I go to Advanced Tools, you'll see a bunch of things pop up. And Alex, if you could get a little zoom in going on that. Let's show you some of the modes that I really, really like. First, there's the chroma key. So if I chroma key, it allows me to do things like, on Twitch where you'll see someone put a picture of themselves on top of the stream.
Yeah.
This will do that. So you can say, okay, I want this layer should be this opaque.
Right.
This layer should be this big. I can tile them on top of each other. I can also take a background image. So I could like put my logo on the back rather than the Skreens logo every time I'm switching. It does X-ray mode, so I can have like different windows that are semi-transparent on top of other windows. And of course, screen stacking. Screen stacking allows me to set which inputs automatically get priority. So if like one window's on top of another window, it automatically shows up on top.
Okay.
That's all cool. That's fun.
Awesome.
But
Let's see one more tab.
This broadcast. Now the cool thing about broadcast is these are all built in. I do not need another computer to do this. It streams directly from the box.
Padre, I want one.
I know. So I can go to Beam, I can go to Twitch, I can go to Ustream, to YouTube. I'm not going to show you that because I don't want to show off my credentials.
Right. So you just have to sign in with your account and then it'll push it out.
Done. Right. So like for YouTube Live, all you would do is you would sign into your YouTube account. You would click live, and then it would say, okay, well, you need to copy this key into your device.
Yeah.
Once that key and your username and password are in, it goes. It's
cool.
one touch. It's literally one touch broadcast. You push it, and it's going to your channel.
I'm surprised you haven't taken this apart yet. I mean, how long have you had it now? Probably not very long. Or have you taken it apart?
I did take it apart. Yeah, I did.
I'm curious to know what's in there.
You wouldn't notice anything because it's all custom.
Oh yeah.
This is the reason why I thought it was such a great idea, because I've seen boxes like this that will use off-the-shelf components, general purpose CPUs, and they work good enough, but they're typically running a Linux distro that's been cut down so it will work on limited hardware. You get a little bit of lag. I did not see any of that with this. They use custom ASICs that were designed for video processing. So like, for example, if you go back, Alex, when I do this, when I go to my layouts and I move these around, like if I had been using a different solution, what I'd be seeing right now is all the video would be seizing.
Right.
But this is designed. This processes just fine. I mean,
that is so cool.
It is such a good solution. The only thing I would like is if they change this, if they were to change this panel, this one right here, so that I could control it directly from one screen. So if they allowed me to just like touch this, touch this, and switch to it.
Yeah.
Right now I have to hit the layout button.
And then select.
And then select. But that's just a little niggle for me.
Yeah.
Because that's how I would like to use it. You can get more layouts as they come out, and people will be making their own layouts. Oh, one other thing that I kind of like, I can do this. So if I create a new window, I can create a web browser and say drop it right there. So actually, let's replace that one. There we go. And switch to it. Oh, wait, switch to... wait, hold on.
Huh?
Wait, what did I do? Hold on.
That is so. Can we just do the whole show like this though, with the 4 different camera shots?
You know what? It won't let me add this unless I delete something. So,
Gonna delete me.
Which one do I want to get rid of? And so what I could do is I added a browser window. Now this is not a browser on my computer. This is a browser inside the Skreens box.
What?
Right, so if I didn't want to waste an input, let's say I want 4 cameras.
Right.
I can still have one PC, like the TriCaster PC that we use, to show things. Because this is actually running inside of the Skreens box. I can hook up a mouse and a keyboard, and unfortunately I don't have a keyboard, so I can't type anything in.
Right, but what is it? What OS is it running?
It's running Linux.
Oh, it is.
So it's running this is Chrome on top of Linux, and I can actually upgrade. Actually, it's telling me I should upgrade the browser. But I mean, again,
that is so cool.
This is designed for streamers. If you're a content producer, this will do what you needed a $5,000 box to do just 6 months ago.
Yeah, that's kind of a must-have. A must-have little device now.
Now we got to go through the cons because there are a couple of cons here. The biggest one is it's still kind of a device in progress. There were a bunch of delays on this, mostly because the software wasn't quite ready. Every once in a while, I'll get these red lines across the screen. They've diminished now that they upgraded the firmware. I had it happen once. But that might have been the devices I was connecting to it. So, and it's not happening right now, but I know I wouldn't want that to happen in the middle of a broadcast.
Right.
The other thing is, and you notice this, it has an issue with heat.
Yeah, well, you can tell it's like new plastic or something because it sort of has that toxic smell right at the moment.
Yeah, you're not going to want to impede the airflow of this. In fact, in the custom housing that I've been developing for it, I'm adding a secondary fan because I don't like my hardware getting that hot. This does chug out quite a bit of heat.
Well, for everything that it's doing, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I know.
You can hear like a little fan inside of it, but...
Hold on, wait, where's your camera? Because your camera does look the best. By the way, folks, let's do a side-by-side here because this is my camera. So my camera, this is on the Cinema, and I know I got my settings wrong because I'm at 54K, but let's look at Brian's camera. No, that's not Brian's camera, it's that one. Now, that's why I chose the 4K camera when I made my purchase. This just looks better. This just really does look better.
And it's not even like a crazy fancy lens you have on it or anything.
No, it's a plastic lens.
Yeah.
But if I was building myself a studio, this is what I would choose. Because again, $300 to $400 box plus a $1,300 camera, I'm only at maybe $1,700. Add the screen, my little Blackmagic screen. Yeah. That gives me not just a way to monitor what's going on, but it also gives me a local recording.
Yeah.
So now for what? For $2,600, again, still under $3,000, I have a studio that has at least one high definition camera that I can hook up multiple cameras to, like cheaper cameras,
switch
my
it.
laptop, switch it, and stream, all without any additional hardware. I mean, this takes the place of the TriCaster, it takes the place of our switcher, it takes the place of our encoder.
Yeah.
And our encoder was, hey Alex, how expensive is our encoder?
20 grand.
20 grand,
20
you know,
grand?
so this is, you know, a little less. I kind of like this.
Man, now the hard part is just making content.
Just make the content. Now, we're not done though. So this was sort of a tease. We're going to be using this Skreens unit. Unfortunately, we do have to send back the Blackmagic cameras until mine arrives.
You liked it so much you actually bought it.
I actually bought it.
And
cool. I mean, I can only buy a camera maybe once every like 5 years, 6 years.
I think you'll be set probably for the next 5 years with that one, yeah.
But I am going to steal one of Leo's lenses.
Well, if you want to review it for real, you know, and then put it on screensavers or something.
I do want to see what the $10,000 lens looks like, though.
Probably look pretty sweet.
He came around with a little box. He's like, Padre. I'm like, and then he like closed it. He's like, nope. I'm like, oh man.
Oh, what a tease.
But yeah, I want to see what really, really good glass looks like on a 4K camera.
I'd like to also, and maybe like a stabilizer too. Get some sweet panning shots. Ooh.
Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are salivating over this. And by the way, the Skreens was not made originally for this kind of content. I mean, they kind of went in that direction once people started saying, hey, you know what, I'd like to stream from the box.
Yeah.
It was designed for people who wanted something in their entertainment system, so you could hook up all like your TV tuner and your game box, and you could actually do this. You could do like multiple setups where you've got windows and windows.
Yeah, I feel like we did an interview with the guy who created this.
That's what he made it for.
Right.
And then he started hearing, oh yeah, I guess I could put streaming functionality into it. Oh,
right. Right, exactly.
Yeah. Now, I know there's going to be some of you who are like, oh, where do I get one of these?
Yeah?
Problem?
Are they limited supply?
Yeah, if you go to that link, so their website is skreens.com, S-K-R-E-E-N-S, I think, is that it? It was a Kickstarter, and they're still delivering their Kickstarter units. Okay. So as soon as they finish delivering those, they'll probably go into full production. But right now, the only way for you to get one of these is to like, because I wanted a second one.
Yeah.
Get onto the forums and find someone who has received one, and if they don't want it, just
buy it off them.
Yeah.
Well, so when this Kickstarter first came about, how long did it take from them to get to?
Took a while.
Yeah.
It was over a year and some. Actually, they were 6 months. Well, no, 8 months overdue.
At least they came out with something.
Yes, and that's the thing. They came out with something, and it is spectacular.
Yeah, it works. It does
exactly
as
what they
advertised.
said it was going to do.
Yeah. Lily drone.
Yeah. Often either the Kickstarter doesn't come through, or it comes in. You're like, well, at least it didn't like disappear.
Right.
Now, this is good. Yeah. This is good. And we're going to be using this on screensavers in a bit. I want to hook up a couple of different cameras, because right now we've got two Blackmagic cameras. So this one and this one are Blackmagic. That's my Panasonic AG HMC 150. So I've got, and they've actually got different frame rates right now. So, I mean, this is one of these things where you don't do this on switchers. If you start sending a switcher differing frame rates, it freaks out.
Yeah.
This one is sending 30 frames per second. This one's doing 60 frames per second. And that one's actually doing, I think, like some weird 24 frames per second.
And all 1080? Or?
All 1080. All 1080. But I could throw 720 in there for giggles. Yeah. And then the laptop is doing 60i.
Yeah.
So, and it's dealing with all of that in real time, and it can move all of it in real time. I mean, I know I'm gushing right now, but really they delivered.
You're geeking out, but for good reason.
Oh, yeah, for really good reason.
Well, so now we'll just hook this up, and then Alex doesn't have to switch anymore, right? You can just do it.
Just touch. Oh, folks, in the next episode, what we need to do is we need to give you some tips. Actually, hold on, let me switch to myself. No, wait.
Maybe we still do need Alex.
Wait, we still do. Wait, this one. No, wait. Okay, there we go. So in the next episode, we're still going to show you some tips, because now that you know what equipment you're going to buy, how do you set up your lighting, how do you set up your mics, how do you make sure everything muxes together properly, that's going to be part 3 of our streaming podcast studio special. And Brian, if they want to find out more notes about this episode, about the equipment that we've actually brought in, where should they go?
They should go to twit.tv/.
Yeah, I was like, take 2, please.
Wait. No, Brian.
It's gonna take some practice.
There we go. There we go.
You're gonna want to go to twit.tv/KH, and if you could bring up the website to Padre.
No.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Maybe we still need.
We might need Alex. We might need Alex. Yeah, don't forget to go to twit.tv/KH. What do they find there?
You'll find show notes with links to all the stuff that we talked about today. Unfortunately, you still won't be able to get a Skreens, but you can at least find the website there, and download and subscribe, because this is a multi-part episode, and you're not going to want to miss one.
Yeah. Also, don't forget that you can find us on the socials. Now, that's at go to Google Plus and look for Know How. There's a very short approval process, but once you're in, you get access to almost 11,000 Kitas. Those are our know-it-alls, people who are in every part of the maker journey, experts, beginners, people who want to ask questions, who can answer questions. It's all there, Google Plus, and look for Know How.
That's right, but it's not the only place you can find us.
I'm getting better.
You can find us on Twitter if you want to see what we're working on in the future.
I got nothing for this. I don't have it loaded
I saw
up.
you pressing frantically over there. But you can find me on Twitter at @cranky_hippo.
Is that you? No, that's not you.
That's computer.
Okay, let's go back to that. Yeah, you can find him at twitter.com/crankyhippo. You can find me at twitter.com/PadreSJ. And you can find our esteemed colleague who is now refusing to push the buttons because we've insulted him at ANELF3. Hold on, wait.
I think he just fell asleep.
What camera are you in? You're in that camera. No.
I can.
No, oh no, you're in that camera.
I can change it. Hold on. Can I? Yeah, he's not in a camera. Wait. Where is he? There he is.
Yeah, you can find him at twitter.com/ANELF3.
He's over there.
3. Aww.
Take 3, please.
Take 3. Until next time, I am Father Robert Balloser.
I'm Brian Burnett.
And now that you know how,
go stream it. Go get some cameras and screen, and I'm just gonna take this now.
Isn't it cool?
No, it's hot.
It is kind of.